Hello, everyone. How are you all? Clapping for the start of the stream. We'll probably turn that down just a bit. Excellent. So, seems like we do streams pretty much every day, right? At least once a week. Oh, there was, I wanted to, I'm never gonna be able to, Schlinvik? Your last name is Deathclaw, so I'm gonna go with Deathclaw. Thank you very much for the $10. That is much appreciated. Before the stream even started, thank you. And JD Gilman, thanks for the sub. So we have a ton of people here. We are, yes, going to put together another printer today. Gustner's here. Travis Staver's here. Mike, no, let machines win. I should have brought those stickers down to show you all. Darn. Sean Morrissey, Tom 3D Printed Llama, Aaron F, Randy, Danasaur C, Amanda, Martin. What's going on? So today is one of those. You ever had one of those days where you feel like you just never wake up? I slept well. Maybe that's the problem. Too well. I feel like I'm kind of sleepy. I haven't had very much coffee yet. I've been busy this morning. So we'll work on that as we work on the printer. Yes, a Delta. Chris Galata is here. This is, I'll have to get it's from it's an FLSUN. I've had a few Deltas over the years, and Deltas are okay. I think Deltas are cool. They can be just a little bit fiddly occasionally, but this one's supposed to be pretty easy. Yeah, I said it, easy. I don't know anything about it. As usual, I will build this blindfolded, one arm behind my back, while standing on one foot. There's a funny story to go with this as well, but they gave me an Amazon link for this printer. Let me find that real quick. It is in the description. But this is the low price model. It's $280 on Amazon. It is a Q5 entry-level Delta printer. It says it has auto leveling and touchscreen, and it is 200 by 200 tall. So that's what it is. And it looks to be, I don't know. We're going to find out. This style of Delta has become somewhat popular. It's kind of evolved over the last couple of years. But you see, like, the Magician is kind of like this, I believe. 116 import fees and shipping. Ouch, Gustner. Somebody was telling me, like, to Brazil or something, it was 150 for a Prusa printer. That's insane. Alan Zitter, thank you for the sub. David loves his Q5. Awesome. SP3D, hello. Tom 3D Print Viking, what's up? The Guinness is here. Haven't seen you in a bit. Good to have you. Alexander, thank you for the sub. The box is already open. Yes, Tim, thank you for that. And it's open on both ends, you might also notice. So, I contacted, that's what I was coming over here for, because I wanted to see the parent company that we actually talked to here on this. I didn't contact anyone. Tree 3 is who contacted me. So, maybe, geez, the subs are flying in. Thank you. Adam, Nick, you're awesome. That's who contacted me. But this is an FLSUN printer. So that might be their parent company. So, they said, hey, do you want one of these? And I'm like, I don't know. Because my buddy Colin had the Cricket, Q Cricket something, years ago. And it didn't turn out so well. So I always kind of stayed away from FLSUN. It really wasn't in the market for a small Delta or anything. They were off my radar, right? Nothing against them. But I reached out to the Twitterverse and asked them about it. Some people said they really liked it. So I decided to give it a whirl. Well, I thought it was going to be 3 weeks. You know, when I say, yeah, I'll take one, it's usually 3 weeks before it shows up. Well, I said yes, and like 2 days later, this mysterious box that was unlabeled showed up. And it was an Amazon box. And I'm like, well, I could, you know, who knows? I order from Amazon like, you know, every 5 minutes. But so I open the box, and then this box is in it upside down. And I have so it's just crammed in there, just upside down. And I have no idea what it is. So I open it, and it's upside down. And I was like, well, it looks like printer parts, but I'm not sure what printer parts those might be. So then I flip it over, and I find out it's FLSUN. So that's as far as I got. But I did end up opening both ends, so hopefully I didn't disturb it too much. John Straight is here. What's going on? Matt UK is here. Dead Simple is here. Freddy's here. Stig is here. Dave is here. Angel is here. Valmore, Tristan. What is up, everybody? I'm glad to see you. Gusner. Logistics fees, absolutely. And you, like, when I order from Prusa, like if I get like on a Mark III, it's like $70. It's kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is. I hate that term, by the way. I shouldn't use it, but okay. So we ready to do this thing? Let's see what we got. Delta is the best. There's a lot of people on Team Delta. I know a few guys at a company called See Me CNC that would agree with you. All right, Q5. So supposedly, for you non-English speakers, supposedly is not a real word, but it's supposed to be a handful of parts. You stand it up, you build the bed, bang, whiz, zoom, prints pop out like magic. Everything's great with the world. So let's just see how this goes. We have a power cord. It is the US version. We have 3 towers. Not like in the Lord of the Rings. That's one extra. FLSUN labeled motors. They're terminated with crimps, which ain't bad. Are they? They are V wheels, and it is V slot. They got a pretty nice metal bracket on there. Pretty heavy. All right. So we got 3 of those. And they are labeled, so you know which motor to plug in which plug. That's cool. Clean glass plug-in leveling switch. So it has a removable leveling switch, which is pretty common for the smaller Delta. Remove leveling switch. Put on piece of paper. They even give you a time guide for how often you should maintenance it. 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. 2 months you should adjust belts and eccentric nuts if they're loose. We have a USB cable. I think this is a remote control for it. No, I'm just kidding. It's a spool holder. That's the only problem with Deltas, is it's finding a place to put them. We have the effector arms. What do we call those? Smooth rod. Like, I used to call that smooth rod length or something. It's been a while since I've done a config on a Delta. There is our top, our effector, our leveling switch. Looks to be some clippers and some tools. It has button head screws. A lot of foam I can throw on the floor. A little bitty power supply. It's got a maker base board. I can't see a model number, but I don't know. I don't know if that's like a Gen L or what. It has a Titan-like extruder. It has a printed Bowden clip. All right. And we need something to print on. Looks like we have, we got a little bit of filament. This is heated, which isn't always something you see on a Delta. But I think we got it. I think that's all the parts we need. Okay. Yes, I know. That is an endless cycle, Gusner. I did work really hard on cleaning up and straightening things. I even, swept the floor a little bit. Got everything all night. The table was straight and everything, so I took a picture of it because I knew it wasn't going to stay that way very long. And now I'm just throwing boxes everywhere. That's life. I can't do anything about it. What's that power supply set to? It is set to 230. So we did that. That would probably be interesting to do after it's assembled. Okay. Let's go ahead and take this plastic off. So the last one of these, what was it? Not the last stream. That Ender 3 V2 has this ultra base light coating on it that a lot of the companies are coming out with. It was completely saturated in some sort of yellow fluid that was really hard to get off and made it not stick very well. So I definitely want to clean that off really good before we start on this one. Okay. Let's throw this thing together. Let's get this show on the road. Cool. So we got, if you've never, there's a few Delta non-users in the crowd. I haven't used one in a while. I do understand the, general idea. But so for today, we're going to call this guy X, this guy Y, and this back one Z, just for your reference. And that's really only important when it comes down to where you plug them in on the board. It's kind of universal as long as you keep things straight as far as in-stop switches and motors and good stuff like that. If you get that crossed, then things get a little bit weird. ABC equals XYZ. There you go. That's a great point because we're not really talking about that, right? We're really no longer talking about XYZ when we're in the Delta configuration. So that is good to mention. Non-Delta users, Mitch 3D is the ultimate Delta user. Good to see you, Mitch. Soft spot for Delta. John, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us. Never used Delta. Okay, then we're gonna learn something. Questioning on quality. The problem with Delta is there's a pretty, well, I probably shouldn't comment on that because I really don't know what the current market is for Deltas. I don't shop for Deltas. I know a bit more about the more common American brands. Sergeant Kill sounds dangerous, but thank you for the sub. I like CMC&C, right? So I know about the Artemis but those are kind of higher end. So when I was, I don't know, a couple years ago, when I was last looking around at Deltas, there's really no middle of the road like there is on a Cartesian machine, an i3 machine. You can't really just jump from the $400 deal to the $2,000 deal. So I think that's probably where that concern is. These are a lot of the Deltas you see are lower end, so they will probably be faster, but maybe the detail's not so good. If you built them solid, there really wouldn't be any difference. Chris Galata, I'm gonna give it to you. Mitch carries the Delta community on his back. Bill, they can be really tricky to tune in, but morning, George. Hopefully this one, it does have an auto bed leveling sensor, and that seems to always be the tricky part. Belt tension, things like that, needs to be pretty close, but we'll just see how it goes. These pictures are somewhat small. Okay. Let's just start putting things together. Where is... It's right here. All right. So, yeah. So this guy's going to sit down in here. We will run our wires through the center bracket like so. Your end stop is back here in the corner. And a lot of times they're on the top, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. Well, this is the top, sorry. We're building from the top down. That is the top. And it just has a terminated plug for the end stop. And we'll put some screws in it. It is all sheet metal. I don't know if it's aluminum or what, but it seems like it will be fairly sturdy when it's put together. Chris Travis is here. What's up? Jerry at 3D Printing and Painting is here. Grits, a 69 Ford F100. Good morning. I still didn't go find that wrench that I was looking for the other day. I think it's sitting over there by the rail core. Or I cleaned up so well that I no longer know where it is. Starting the 3D Chameleon build on my Ender 3. Have you had any problems since your last video? Occasionally, it will miss a color change. And it's always when I'm not watching it. I think it's because of the filament tip not getting tuned correctly. So, color changing, if you've never done it before, there's a couple of very key things when you're doing it like that out of a splice tube, or you have to, if you're using the same path to the hot end, you have the filament shape, the ramming sequence is going to be very important, because it has to, you have to shape it just so by either cooling the nozzle or, you know, bringing the filament in, shaping it, cooling it a bit, pulling it back out so that it doesn't pull a string off the top, but it also doesn't mushroom the top of it very much. And there's a perfect, there's an ideal setting in there, and really the only way I know to find it is just to play with the slicer settings. Crucial Slicer is, I think, personally the easiest to use for multiple color, things like that. So I think when I'm missing the layer, it's being caused by the filament coming back through and not making it fully out of the Y tube. I'm not exactly sure where it's getting stuck, because by the time I catch it, it has sorted itself out, but it did miss the layer, so the print's no good. But it kept printing, so it didn't miss very much. And that's what the MMU2 has tried to solve with a filament sensor, so that it could tell if that load was good or not. At the beginning, it didn't do that. So I think that's what's causing it. Just occasionally, I'm probably running like right on the cusp of what the filament tip should look like. It could probably be tuned in better. And just occasionally I'm missing a layer. So that's the most important part I'm going to say to warn you about. Get a good slicer profile, and whatever type of filament that you're using, tune it in really well. And honestly, when you're tuning that type of thing, don't just tune it by brand, tune it by color. Because I've had the same brands and a certain pigment cause more stringing than others. So get you a print that does a lot of changes but doesn't take very long time to print, so you can watch the changes, and then maybe when the change is on to the next filament, pull the previous one out, take a look at the tip, see if it's nice and pointed but not super mushroomed and not stringy. And when you have that, when you have the ramming tuned, you shouldn't have any problems. But so that's the best advice I can give you for anybody that is trying to do multiple filaments on the same hot end. And Bill Steele is here, who is the creator of the Chameleon, so he could chime in on any advice that he has, because I'm sure he's seen every support issue on the Chameleon by now. No blobs. That's the hard part. I did clean. Dave Randolph is here. What is up, Dave? I did clean the basement, but as everyone noted, I'm already throwing stuff back on the floor. So it's not going to last long, but I tried. Sean Butler's in here somewhere. Hello, Sean. 3D Maker Kid is here. Hello. Brian, I have 2 MMU2s, and I've been wanting to get the new firmware on. That's one of the videos that I want to do soon. I want to get the new firmware on because the newest firmware lets you use the blade to do the clip. And that's kind of what they were intending on us doing at the beginning. When they came out with that thing, they just never got a good implementation. But it's in there now. So I want to see if one, because I've had problems. They've upgraded some of the parts, so I need to print a few more out. But I need to get the new firmware on. I need to print out some parts. But I always had issues with if I would get a jam or something, if the filament would run behind that selector, it'd pull the blade right out. And then you had to get around and fish it out of there, pull the selector off and all that. So I pretty much just removed the blade because they wasn't using them anyway. But now they can utilize it. So yes, that is one thing I want to get back around to, and I will make a video on that because I think it's worthwhile. So that should be coming sometime soon. Currently, I'm working on 2 videos a week, trying to get some things off of my list. So I'm going to try to charge hard at it for the next couple of months and get some projects done. And so Bill brings up a good point, and that's something that I learned from Bill that I did not know. His comment there says flat strings are too cold, round strings are too hot, and I'd never considered that. But you do see that. So so if you pull the filament out of there, and it looks like Easter grass, you know, the green stuff you used to get when you were a kid. It's just the string is real flat, like a streamer. You're actually too cold when you're doing your ramming sequence, and it's trying to stick. And then if you're too hot, it comes out looking all, it's round because it's really liquidy. I considered the too hot. I got that part, but I never really considered the too cold. So you learn something new every day. And Bill is the guy that has a lot of knowledge. So definitely when that is concerned. So that's cool. That's a cool idea. Didn't really ever think about it, but now I will share it with you as Bill shared it with me. Adam Green, thank you very much for the $5. That is much appreciated. NNU requires patience and testing and testing. Absolutely. I've wasted so many hours of my life on the MMU2. Wow. I mean, like to the point I wasn't getting content done anymore because it was driving me crazy. I think this thing's pretty straightforward, y'all, as Walter would say. Let's take a look at R. So we're going to want our sweet FLSUN logo here in the front because our heated bed wires are like so. So let's do that. Cool. So far, so good. So the original firmware with the MMU2, if you haven't dug into one yet, you're probably way better off. The original firmware was infuriating. It's gotten so much better. I don't know what release I currently have. I believe it's like 206 or something. I don't know what the newest one is. But the release that I have is actually pretty good. It does a fair job. But I'm hoping that the new one does it even better. Zero beast firmware, but Guster, I've heard of that, and I've never given it a try. But I should. There's all kinds of actually like user-based firmwares out there. They're usually pretty good, but I never get a chance to trying them. I don't want a thread. Nice. Eric says his MMU went from paperweight to functional in one flash, so that's good to hear. And you got to give it to Prusa. They do develop their firmware, which not every company does. Multiple fixed heads is not a bad way to go. Yeah, well, it's Matt UK has a great point. Tom's is probably dialed in, but he probably didn't sleep for 3 weeks while he was while he was tuning it. Poor guy. I know how he feels. I mean, he gets you get off on something and you just can't let it go. But Tom is the man at persistence. But that's kind of what it takes to tune in filament and things. You got to be kind of orderly and keep track of what's what and all that. I'm just not good at it. I get distracted by too many different things going on. What's up, Dan? What do I prefer for the Delta style? You know, the only firmware I've ever used on a Delta was Marlin, I believe. Duet would probably handle it. I mean, RipRap would probably handle it great, but I've never used it, so I couldn't tell you because I've really only had experience with Marlin. I haven't checked out Repetier in a long time. I installed it a couple years ago, looked around. It was fine. Nothing wrong with it. But then I know that they did do some more development after I looked at it. So I should go back and take a look at that one of these days. Daniel, thank you very much for the $5 Canadian. That is much appreciated. Is this the best Delta style? I really can't answer that. I don't know. I don't know enough about the physics and such to what the Delta would require. I would think this design would be just a bit top heavy, just, you know, first impressions. I don't know if that's going to cause issues or not. But most of the time when you see a Delta that's real high end, they're built like a tank. You know, they got a lot of weight to them. And I don't think it's a big issue to have, you know, all the electronics and motors and things like that up here on top. But I think you need a base, a nice sturdy weighted base to plant it down. What drives me crazy about some of these Deltas, so it's very important on a Delta that your effector arms be the same length. That's kind of key in this whole deal. If they're not, you're going to have some bad times. And these look to be pretty good. Close enough. But what kills me is almost all of these are assembled and then they glue the metal end on, so they're not adjustable. There has to be a way, a much better way, to pull these apart and make them adjustable. Usually you will see on a lot of the aftermarket rods or whatever that you buy, you'll see a thin shaft with threads on the end so that you can give it a couple of turns and make it shorter, make it longer if something isn't quite right. But all these kits come with these glued on ends. And there's got to be a better way of doing things. I don't know how much it costs more to manufacture something that doesn't have those, but there has to be a way. Just my observation. It is absolutely possible to run Octoprint on a Windows laptop. You just run it in a screen, have it start up when the computer boots, you'd be all set. Started with the jam nut. I mean, anything. Just stop doing that. See, now, okay, injected molded rods with no adjustment. As long as they're perfect, right? I mean, as long as they're all the same, there wouldn't be any issue. Went down a rabbit hole last night playing with Clipper. Looked at the clock, it was 5:30. Yeah, that'll happen. Oh, you don't need to see the top of this. I guess you can see me working. It's one of those things too. We're talking, you know, when you talk about Delta, you got to talk about CNC, and that's one of those printers. I have almost ordered an Artemis a couple of times, and sometimes they'll like give you, because they ship in a crate. You know, I mean they do some pretty extensive shipping to keep it safe, and it's assembled. And sometimes they have like they're running a special where it's $300 off or something, so it's down around $1,700. I've been so tempted to order one. But the real issue, 100% honesty, is the size. I don't know where to put it. The rail core is now inhabiting the last decent size volume area that I have here in the basement. So I'm going to have to get rid of some stuff before I can get large deltas. Chris's basement auction. You know, we were just talking about that the other day. I have a couple of printers that I really need to get rid of. Python Jelly, I like it. Thank you for the sub. I have a couple of printers I really need to get rid of, but also a couple that I need to get rid of that I just really don't want to. And one of those is my original CR10. I've had it since the CR10 came out. And it still works. I have done nothing to it. I think I changed the wheels on it like 2 years ago. It still works. It's fine. But, you know, I don't ever use it. It just sits there. But I really hate to let it go. I don't know why. Pax, thank you for the sub. I don't know why, but I'm a little sentimental about it, I guess. But it really needs to find a new home. Okay. What way would I like this to go? I think we are going to say that the Hotends fan goes this-a-wise. Let's do one of these numbers. Oh, we don't want that one. Oh, come on. This did this to me the other day. And then it just miraculously started working. Just like it just did. That's always interesting when cameras just appear. Llama core. It's printing. Nice. Nice work. Am I going to... I don't know. I never had a craft bot. I don't know much about them. So I probably won't get a hold of one. 3D printer hoarders. Absolutely. Marcelo, thank you for the sub. Why not hot in backwards? There's really on a Delta, there's really no point one way or the other. I mean, I guess you could put your hot in fan away. So this one, it's really not going to matter because you have a part fan on one side and a hot in fan on the other. So 6 of 1. Let's get this spider in here. The subs are rolling in. Eric, thank you for the sub. It's a good day for watching YouTube, I guess. Josh, I bet you it does. That Predator is a beast. I saw one last time I was at Murph. They're a monster. I guess that's why they call it the Predator. Or it's because it chases Arnold Schwarzenegger around a jungle, as well as Carl Weathers and Jesse the Body Ventura. James from Restaurant 3D, welcome to the stream. I did get one. It's sitting over in a box somewhere. I did not do a video or live stream on it. It might have made it. I might have like taken it out of the box on a live stream or something. I think we did like a Friday hangout stream once. I think I was working on that. I got some motors on it. I got some belts on it and things like that. I got to messing with the main board and then I tapped out and moved on to something else. It's, again, one of those projects I'd like to do, but haven't got around to it. So I haven't made much progress on it. But it's still around. Okay. So we have a set of wires for leveling. They are all color-coded. Fans. Leveling. And if they're not color-coded, okay, that's for the add-on sensor. It's a different type. And we'll put our Bowden tube on. Time. What else we got? Our sensor. I did add some lights to the shelves, John Strand. They're still not as bright as I would like them to be, but I'm somewhat happy with it. I found these little 18-inch one-tube deals that were pretty inexpensive, so I put 2 on each, and they seem to work out pretty good. Thank you for noticing. I don't know if this is worth doing this or not, but but we're going to anyway. Here's the peel. Oh, we didn't get it in one shot. It's actually, a bit of it is trapped underneath the bezel, but that's not uncommon. All right. It's kind of hard to show a Delta, I just found out. Okay, so what would they like us to do? First thing they want us to do is run an auto level. I personally would like to see an auto home first, but that's just me. I moved this power strip, so hoping to get some more room on the table, but now I'm thinking I'm going to need a longer one. I don't think it's actually supporting anything serious. I hope. Like nothing concerning this stream. I think it might be inevitable that we have a power strip on the table. What's this one? Oh, it's my heat gun. I was like, that's a really substantial cord. I need to actually push the table out one of these days and like screw it to the side or something, so it's just a little bit more convenient. Okay, I guess we could put the spool holder on too, I guess, if we have to. Oh, it was already on. It's beeping. The screen works, and there are buttons. Let's see. Kind of hard to see down here. It's not real bright. Well, directly it is, I guess. How about tool? Home. It moves. So that's a good sign. Junior Joe Prussia, welcome to the stream. Have I ever tried an E3D V6 and a Bondtech on an Ender 3? I have not. I have never done a direct drive on an Ender 3. Dave. A printer build is only fun if it takes 7 days to do it. Dave, how do I get the part in my hair so perfect? Well, that is a great question. I don't. It's actually almost always crooked. And I look at it a lot. I'm like, man, that's really crooked. But like, you know, as soon as I'm done combing my hair, I was like, yeah, you did a not great job on that. But thank you for the question. But I don't feel that I do get it all that straight. But I have been doing my hair just like this for 24 years. So I've had a lot of practice. A lot. I had some yellow. I had some what? I'm guessing you're saying filament. I had some yellow-orange filament on the mini review? Did I? Delta are the short end, absolutely. Tom has it correct. A printer build is only fun if my DM section in Twitter to Dave is 10 pages long and it's all been the same day. That's how you know you're having a good time. Now, I thought there was like a little section of PTFE. There is. I thought I saw that. No, that's not. It's a zip tie. I thought it was PTFE. Because on a Titan like this, or Titan-like, it's not an actual Titan, I'd really like to see there be some sort of buffer in there to not rub the filament raw. Can't tell me. See, this is what happens when you clean up. You don't have all the little odds and end pieces that you're saving just for these moments. Well, let's get the auto level going, because that's going to take a minute. So on this guy, you're going to have, this one looks to be the magnet type. So it just magnets on there so that you're simulating the nozzle, so to be right over the nozzle. And on small-ish deltas like this, if you don't do that, if it's not right over the nozzle, like say you had a BL Touch and you wanted to put it on the side of the effector, the tilt of that effector is going to be enough to get your measurements way off. So I do recommend something on this size that you go with a setup like this rather than trying to add another sensor, because adding one is a nightmare. And on a Delta like this, the bed's not moving, you don't have adjustments. As long as you don't move it around too much, your levels should be pretty much consistent. So I'm going to do this in a certain order. I'm going to let the text-to-speech read that, Matt. Oh, come on, you got to read it. Is text-to-speech broken today? Yes, there's the strange yellow fluid I was talking about. Thank you anyway, Matt, even though it didn't read it. Deltas are weird, but I won't hold it against you. Also, your hair is fabulous. I appreciate the $5. PS4 Gamer is just saying random stuff. The stepper drivers just let loose and the whole thing fell. So they timed out. So be aware of that. It's almost clean. Streamlabs must be having an issue today. Josh, thank you very much for the 5. That is much appreciated. Showing some Deltas some love. I don't get around to Deltas very often, but they're part of the family too. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. So now I am going to heat that up a bit before I run my level. It is heating. It's really hard to see. We'll let that heat and then we'll kick off the auto level. Yeah, never really, I've never seen that design before. and they really don't have any adjustments. So they are banking on that auto level to save you. So we'll see how that goes. Because I'm sure these screws down here are more than likely T-nutted in. It's not going to be like a precise cut hole. It's V6 clone hot end, it looks like to me. It looks awful V6-y, kind of. Redheaded stepchild. What's in the coffee? Whiskey? Not until afternoon, but it is Sunday. We can make an allowance for that. What was I gonna? Oh yeah. I was gonna get a piece of tube. I don't have any TTFE laying around anywhere. Just something. That one doesn't actually go in there as far as I would like it to. Just something to keep it from rubbing. Alright, we have the temp yet? Dragon hot end. I don't have one yet, but I'd be willing to give it a go. Alright, tool. Auto level. Sensor is plugged in. Let's go for it. So what it should do is go around the bed, take a bunch of measured points, and build us a mesh in case there are different lengths in rods, microscopic differences, different spots on the bed, but it's going to measure all the towers, compare it to the center, because the problem with the Delta is how the kinematics actually work. So those of you that never had a Delta, we're kind of working in a vase envelope here. So you start out wide at the bottom, it gets smaller at the top, but because of it moving around on different lengths arm, you're actually pushing it one way or the other. You have a tendency to not be on a flat plane. So it's based on, there's more math than I can spit out for you, but it's based on the radius, basically. You can adjust radius to try to get it down, but you're going to see convex or concave surfaces. It has a real tendency to not lay down a flat bead all the way across, and that's what the leveling is going to try to do. It's going to try to compensate and get you as flat as possible, and then if the level succeeds and you build a decent mesh, then all you have to worry about is some Z offset to try to get the amount of squish that you like. In theory, that all comes together and works. Now that's the fidgety part about the Delta. I've always run into problems, no matter how many times I run into these auto. They do work sometimes, but getting a perfect flat layer on a lower end Delta can sometimes be a real challenge. Dan, good to see you as well. Are there differences between 3D Touch and BL Touch? I've tested them side by side. The 3D Touch that I have the deviation is super high. So I would say that the BL Touch on consistency is much better. Scott, Hack Monkey is here. Yes, Delta action today. Voron BOM. I still need to talk with Dave. Like, there's a couple of different kits that you can buy to kind of assemble the whole thing. It will be my next build, like large build, you know, like railcore size build. I'm not sure exactly how soon it's going to be, but I've just gotten started on sourcing parts, so I still have a little bit more time before I get all that stuff in-house. It is pretty quiet so far, you are correct. They seem to be using some sort of silent stepper maybe, and the fans aren't too loud. I don't know how many iterations this does. Sometimes, like in Marlin, it'll do 7. So I hope it's not that many, but okay. You know what? I don't even have my slicer profile's got all messed up. And I don't have a Delta profile. Not that that's a huge deal, but I was just thinking about that. I don't have one. Okay, so now we need to move to 0. Let's use their maintenance paper here. We'll take this guy off. We're going to move to 0. Build a 3D printer from scratch. Wow, that is really close, folks. Now, are they wanting me to add to my delta height or to my offset? It's to my offset. I think I can print on that. You have to hit save. Remember that. Hit save. The touchscreen is decent. It seems to be a pretty traditional maker-based touchscreen. It's fine, you know, usual. Yes, Dave is building a Voron. He sent me a picture of it. It's looking really good. Dave does a great build. All right. So supposedly, that's all we got to do, right? We need some filaments. I can smell it preheating. So, we can set this over there as it prints. I will find us some filament. I need to source us a file. Let's do that. And we're going to be in good time because we're going to get the print going. And then we'll get some more coffee. It's going to be great. Okay. What do I want to do as far as a slicer profile? I had some Delta profiles that were decent. Switchback looks like a fun build. Do printers ever cause fire from malfunction? They can. There's a lot of hot bits in there. You gonna make me learn Idea Maker just for this? I haven't used Idea Maker in a few months now. I need to go check it out and see what's happening. Yep. Just to change things up a bit, some of the FLSUN printers are available in Cura, I believe. I never slice with Cura, but because I need to work on my Prusa slicer install, and I really don't want to do that, I might actually use this. We'll see what I can find in here real quick. It's good to jump around to other slicers on occasion and just see what's going on. Especially Cura, because they change things up quite a bit. It's not a bad slicer. Idea Maker's good too. It's just not as, I don't think it's as easy to find stuff in it. It has its merits. How many shells does it have though? We'll go with 2, I guess. I've always found that Cura has a tendency on some of the default profiles to show the infill. All right. Should we use their SD card? Prusa Slicer, it definitely has the best multi-material support, hands down. Hands down. All right. Now we play find the SD card slot. Filament. Bright pink. What we got over here? Got a little bit of yellow. We don't want that. Most of this is PETG. I got some purple. I got light pink. I'm heavy on the pink right now. I know we have the silver we used last week. I really like the blue, but I think we did that too. Ooh, I know what we should do. Hold on. Hold on. Here it is. Let's open up a new spool. This is Cruciament Mystic Green. Pinkish. Check that out. Well, those Cruciament spools actually fit on here. That's a lot of weight to throw on the top of that guy. It really won't even fit. One more spool. These are already cut at an angle for your convenience. It did look like it had some white in there. I often wonder how that test goes, because a lot of these Hotends have filament in them, but what are they testing for? Just to make sure, like, it gets hot? Let's just hit print and see how it goes. Auto level change, back, tool, print, test, whole bunch of file folders. We shall wait for it to stabilize. Can't resist touching it. I think we got that first hit. Nice. It is quiet while printing. Enter now to win a USB cable and some clippers and Allen wrenches. I'll throw in the zip ties for free. We always start the prints off with a benchy. That is one heck of a brim. Is it a brim or a skirt? What'd you do to me, Kira? It's got a brim on it with an 8mm width. Oh well. Thanks for keeping me safe, Kira. I appreciate it. I don't build printers. They're just for making benchies. Only $35 shipping and what is it called? What do they do on the infomercials? Shipping and handling applies. Processing fee. That's what I get for grabbing random Kira profiles. Alright, it's printing well. You know what that means? It is coffee time. How fast are you going? It looks like it was going at 60, John. I can tell you real quick. It's got a travel speed of 120. Most all of them are 60. But you know, as always, auto cooling is applied. So it's coffee time. That means break time. So you all watch the print. I'll even move it over a bit for you. And I will get coffee, and everything will be good. Sorry. I'm trying to let it autofocus just a little bit on not the nozzle. Remind me to raise that up here in a bit. There you go. I'll be right back. Did it fall off the build plate yet? Are we still good? Still looking good. I wish it would focus a little better. Maybe I can tap the thing and it will focus more. Focus. Infill's just a bit messy. I think the temperature needs to come. What did Kira set me at anyway? This screen's really hard to read. Oh, they got me set at 200. Can I adjust it on the fly? Temp. We need more heat than that. Much happier for Prusament, hotter than that. That should print much better. So there we go. We'll watch this for a moment. The infill should clean up. Yes, I agree. The infill's not laying down too nice, so we went to 215. It's just infill, absolutely. Gusner, I will make sure that after this stream I send you that 3MF file. I promise. Can I review the climber? What is the climber? I don't even know what that is. How about the sound? It's very quiet. Honestly, it is really quiet. Did our infill smooth out? Ooh, that looks a little better. Still kind of yuck there in the front. That's a technical term. Where's PokeTool? I see this quite often, actually, but that guy right there, not so good. But that's probably right after a retraction, I would guess. The Bowden tube on this is just a bit curly. I think we could shorten that up. Maybe 2 centimeters or so. But again, this is a blind Cura profile, so. But see, Cura does this to me every time too. You see that infill in there? It'll still look good though, I have faith in it. That one on front might be smoothing out a bit. The retraction is definitely set to only retract when moving over perimeters, and I don't actually like that. I like to see it a little cleaner inside. I would rather retract while moving over infill as well. We'll let it do its thing. The filament isn't really necessarily positioned at the best angle either. Let's put it so it's a little more direct down. That'll be good. All right. So the printer's built. We're printing. How is everyone? The Climber 7 is a dual IDEX printer from China. Think about an Ender 5 with the dual IDEX. That sounds interesting. Had bad electronics out of the box. 60 millimeters is what Cura is telling me. What is the estimated print time? Cura says 1 hour and 1 minute. Does this screen give me any sort of estimate? No. It just gives me duration. And we've been going for 10 minutes. And it's at 14%. This is the traditional 10 millimeter that you pass through that you see, Gusner, just like you're used to seeing on everything. That could probably also be helped some. Just looking at the extruder turning, the retractions on this are very minimal. But yes, somebody was commenting that they did not like the hydraulic style couplers that came on the Mini. But then after that, they said something about inconsistent filament. So I could definitely see if you had some inconsistent filament, that coupler causing you some problems. Because it has a brass compression, I guess they call it a compression, not a collet or whatever they call that. that goes inside when you tweak the top, spin the top down, it compresses it on the tube into the coupler. I think they're fantastic, but some people have said no, that's not so great. But if you did have some consistency issues, we'll up the tension on our extruder arm a bit. If you did have consistency issues, I can see where that might be a pain. I can actually see it better in the camera than I can on the printer. It's definitely still got some messy infill. I'm going to blame the profile for now. I think our retraction is going to cause us problems after this. What is the retraction set to on this guy? Well, it says it has 6.5 for distance. The speed is 25. It sure doesn't look like it, but well, it's not really doing any retraction over the print. I think that's part of the problem. But oh well. We're doing okay. Yeah, the front looks pretty good. It had one little strip like right in here that you can't see from my tool that I didn't think was going so well, but it's probably, when you see on something like this, you might be getting close to hitting some limit, and it's usually based on like friction of the tube, or the hot end can't produce it, or maybe there's a problem with the nozzle, a million different things. But when you see that skipped infill, that can be a couple of things. Even when, if it's in the same spot over and over, you might be headed towards a retraction or something like that. It's trying to prepare for. And if it's not keeping up already, you're going to see that dither while that comes across it. Or it could just be hooking on it as it goes through a certain pattern. So a couple of things, there's a couple of things you can do there. First thing I would do is enable retraction for all movements. And then maybe just for a test, I'd enable Z lift just to see if the nozzle was actually getting hooked on anything and grabbing it. So, not uncommon. Zormer's Support House. Hello, how are you? Putting a Mosquito on it might be interesting for speed's sake. We mount a Magnum on here and just see how much plastic we crank out. How fast could we fill all the build volume? Yeah, it's V6-ish. That's what it looks like. There's now remember, your mileage may vary even on the clone V6s, because there's some of them they attempt an all-metal hot end. There's some of them that have, the PTFE that run all the way to the bottom. A myriad of different V6 clone designs. Colello 3D Prints, I believe that is Todd. Hey Todd, how's it going? Still having issues with the 20M and Octoprint. Yeah, I could do my best to try to sort those out. If I remember correctly, if that's the issue I'm thinking of, I was getting close to running out of ideas. But we can take another run at it. More than happy to do so. Oh, I heard the first retraction. It definitely looks like it's struggling to pump it out that fast. It could be a flow rate problem. It could be a million things. The extruder is a Titan clone. You mean this spool? Or up here? That even the Titan clone should be able to pull the house down. They do vary tremendously. I agree with you. So when I'm looking over here, I'm looking at this picture, by the way. Looks a little gooey to me. I mean, it doesn't look bad. How about just a touch less temp? What do you say? Steven is here. What's up, Steven? It's dragging up here. I mean, it's kind of rubbing. I mean, it's not super tight on there, though. It should be okay. What I need is a mini spool. Where's my mini spool? You ever done that? So you have a spool holder. Maybe it's not so good, but then you throw an external spool holder on it. But then you use your existing spool holder with a mini spool. Yeah, I got one here. There's not very much filament on this one. Classic. KB Riley, that is my uncle. That's my Uncle Brian. Welcome, Uncle Brian. Haven't talked to you in a while. Gooey is definitely a technical term, as well as pokey and stabby, and all of the other ending in Y items that I do during these streams. Can you show both feeds? I absolutely can. I like to switch in between the two. It started off super good. That first layer was nice, and that's kind of important. You bet. See you later, Bill. Thanks for joining the stream this morning. Take care. How's our gooey factor now that we went down a couple of degrees? Ooh, I like it much better, actually. Good, good, good. Yeah, that brim's kind of worrying. That's quite giant. It's not a bad, I mean, you're getting a pretty high-res feed on that. It's not a bad print at all. layers look real good, especially right out of the box, and I have mystery Kira profile going on here. Yes, definitely a extension would help. I almost never use the onboard spool holder. We like to call it filament from the sky. I usually, depending on the printer, now some you can't do that so easy. You have to kind of change it up a bit. This one will be really easy, but I throw the printer down and then I hang a spool on the rack on the ceiling, and that's its spool. So I do not own a Zarborough. I do not. I just have this bear right here. Red Light Mike is here. What's up, Red Light? I went with the default Python Jelly. I went with the default Cura profile. It says 60 millimeters a second, but I don't know how close that is to actual speed. Motion does look consistent. I mean, it's not jumping around like I kind of expected it to, but for as easy as it was to build, we knocked that out in like an hour and 30 minutes or something. Oh, less than that. We knocked it out in like an hour. We've been printing for 22 minutes, hour and 15 minutes or so. Not bad. It's super fast. What state do we live in? I am right in the middle of the country in Kansas City, Missouri. Scrapping some old 386s. Wow. Those are some old ones. Horst, welcome. Thank you for coming to the stream. Yeah, infill not so good, but I gotta get my Prusa slicer fixed. So when I say it's broken, every time I get a push, Prusa wants you to run the wizard again, because if they've made changes in the profiles or anything, they want those to come back through. And all of those profiles are static. If you adjust them, you have to change it into another profile. Well, sometimes when you do that push, when you get the update, your custom profiles get hammered. And mine always get hammered because all of my profiles are saved on a network drive. So every time I get a push, I have to go find the long link that I created on the network drive, which I have it written down somewhere, or go find it and then punch it back in so I can pull from the network drive and all of that. So anytime that I get an update, I always break the Prusa slicer and I lose all my custom profiles. So I need to go fix that. Oh man, I need to make some plugs too while I'm standing here. It seems like I've been doing that for a month. But yeah, I have to go fix Prusa slicer again so I can get my Delta profiles and stuff back. Dave, this is actually a 2-1. I worked with Greg during the build print. I was focused on the 2, and he's like, "Nah, you should build the 2-1," and he gave me all the stuff in advance. So that one is actually the 2-1 build. Great suggestion, though. That all the 2-1 stuff is now available. The documentation looks awesome. Greg has done a fabulous job as always. Barbecue state. Yes. You're in Wisconsin? Excellent. Thank you for coming, Gusner. I always appreciate that. You didn't realize this was live? Hello, Matt Thompson. Now you know it's live. You love cheese. Yeah, Adam, I've got one. I just, you know how I'm the kind of IT user that does it a lot. I do a lot of IT stuff, but never make it convenient for myself. And now I went to synchronous desktops so that I've got 3 different machines that all see the same thing, which is super handy. But also kind of disrupts certain things in my workflow, like Prusa Slicer's network drive. Peter, thank you very much for the sub. Where's my shortcut? It sounds like it's hooking on something every once in a while. I know this is thrilling, you watching me find my Prusa shortcut. This is why I didn't do it before. There's what I'm looking for. Desktop. Maybe not. That's fixable. All the 3D frames. Slow cookers are awesome. Chris Galata wants you to like the smash button. Adam Green, thank you very much for the 5. I'm glad this morning has been entertaining for you. I like that. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what I have, and I keep dismantling my shortcut. I have a data dir on there, but it changes my shortcut every time, so I have to go back and rebuild it. I need to make just a copy of it. Roy, I'm glad that you like the channel. Thank you for coming to the stream. I appreciate that. But thank you for the link, Gusner. I appreciate it. All right. Yep. I think my slicer link ended up in my garbage folder. That's what it is. Okay. Why is there not Notepad++ on here today? I only use it like every 5 minutes. Apply. Oh. Well, what do they call it then? Programs. Program files, Prusa 3D. It's now in the Prusa Slicer folder. That's how old this shortcut was. It still says Slick3RPE. Better? No. And the execute is still called Slick3R. Prusa Slicer. That worked. All right. Come on, profiles. Scott62, thank you for joining the stream. I appreciate it. Smoked salmon, cream cheese, and rye crackers. Mmm. Today is chicken at our house. I don't know what we're having today. Man, I'm coming over to Uncle Brian's house. Ribs and salmon? You bet, Microtech. It is lunchtime. I'm hungry. I need some lunch. Well, I broke something, because Prusa Slicer no longer loads. Oh, wait, it was just slow. And none of my profiles are there. Nice. This is what I mean. NAS store. I'm having a DNS problem. 63R2-new. Maybe I should switch to IP. Let's try the IP. Tacos, yes. Why did I print the base so wide on the Benchy? That is a great question. It still doesn't work. Awesome. Okay, so it's still broken. I'll fix that later. So because of the issue that I'm working on right now, I have a set of base profiles that I use. And I have a couple of Delta profiles, and there's probably 30 profiles in there that I've worked on over the last 4 years. And I've been just pushing them forward through all the different versions of Prusa Slicer and Slick3R and all that good stuff. So I save them on a drive. Well, every time they update the software now, I get the update and then it hammers the profiles on my drive, and I got to go back through and pull them. So I didn't have them this morning, so I thought to myself, hey, let's just use a random profile from another program called Cura. Well, it just so happens that Cura puts down this really wide brim, as it's called, which I didn't know because I didn't check the settings. So that's called a brim, and if you have a really tricky filament that doesn't want to stick to your plate, you can start a brim around it and then cut it off after it's done. That'll give you a wider footprint so that you can have better luck sticking. But on a heated platform with PLA, there's really not necessary. So I'm not sure why that is still in that profile, but it was. So that's why I ended up with the large footprint. Of course, the only thing that didn't work was sensorless homing. And you have both your X and Y diag pins intact, correct? They're both on there. You didn't clip them. Make sure your end stops are unplugged as well, just to be safe. Would it correct the profiles? I think I've tried that in the past, but I don't remember how it went. I will have to give it another try. I don't know for sure, Travis. "2020 dumpster fire." Adhesion is good, absolutely. Absolutely. That is a great idea, Brian Weber. We should get a hold of one of the developers over there and say, we need cloud backup. Yeah. Okay. Horse, then you're totally fine, because there's not a whole lot of people that have gotten it to work on Z. I have tested it over and over, and I can't get it to work consistently. I still have to use a probe or an in-stop switch or something. I can't get it to work well. So you're not alone. That feature's just not there. You're gonna have to go with a sensor or a switch or something for now. Probe it. Absolutely, Scott. You probably feel my pain. I have the same exact problem. I need to build a plug. So I had an interesting endeavor, let's call it. I needed the plugs that are compatible with a lot of the NEMA 17 motors, and I just couldn't find them. So I ended up having to make a DigiKey order and just order a handful. But if you ever need the 6-pin that is compatible with most NEMA 17 motors, it is a PHR6. And then you have to find the pins that fit those connectors. And these are the 24 to 28 gauge pins. And they're SPH002Ts. So this took me a while to track down, actually. It was kind of frustrating. These are not as readily available as I thought they would be. And I really only needed one. I got 10. They were like, a cent a piece or something. But finding the right part number was laborious. Can we use that term? Is that cool? So I need to put one of these on. I also... Oh no, I cleaned up. It's not over there anymore. I needed to put a different connector on the bed connector. I might have done that already. Well, I mean, it is like a JST connector. I mean, it's the same kind of platform, but they're much, much smaller. I might have a JST to compare it to in here. Maybe not. Oh, maybe they're in this box. I mean, it is a JST style connector, but there's about 1 billion different types of those. So the ones that you see most of the time, like for in-stops and the board side of things, I don't know what model number these are. We'll bring the camera up a bit here in a second too. But you'll see this size. Whoa, we're really zoomed in. Focus. Yes. You'll see this size. And that's like a pH something, something, something. But that is like twice the size of the one that would actually be on the motor. So you would need this size. And they are much, much smaller. And then the side-by-side. All the information you never needed to know, folks. But you can see the difference in between the standard JST on the board sides that we're used to and the ones that actually hook up to the motor. And those little guys are kind of hard to find. So there you go, everything you needed to know about JST connectors. Go to DigiKey, they'll have one. It is Prushamit filament. What did they call it again? Mystic Green, I think is what they call it. So I'm going to pull this one off. You got some of those from Amazon. I could not find anything that small on Amazon. I would love to know where you got them. I'm sure that I can't reuse pins. Oh no, those are way smaller. Board side is a 254, motor side is a 2. There you go. You like this channel? Well, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming. Surprised there isn't more stringing. How are we looking anyway? Me too, actually. I think we got the temperature kind of under control there. I lowered it a little after we jumped it up the first time. We're at 210 right now. You can measure the distance between pins. Alrighty. Why did they put so many different bags of these in here? Stephen, I'm doing well. Hopefully you are doing well. Thanks for asking. Where are those crimpers at? Oh, that's right. I cleaned things up. I'm going with, I don't know, I got a 1.3 setting that I actually like a little better than the 1.0. Boy, these things are really small. Brian Vines has a dad joke app. I wouldn't be surprised. Does it look like it's buffer stalling? It's got a really long retraction, and it's running at 25 millimeters a second. So it's doing 6.5. That's what you're seeing. It should be doing it much faster than that. But again, default profile and such. I am curious to see what board's in there. 1 down, 8 million to go. I think that's the number. Might be off by 1 or 2. Yeah, I can't see the retraction. Absolutely. Old Farmhand is here. I've been working with him on a Marlin config. In Marlin 2 Auto, using Victory Tech when using a BL Touch, I'm not sure what HS in configuration _ADV. I think no matter what, you have to have that BL Touch option on in configuration.h. There are some BL Touch options over there in configuration.adv for like different voltages and maybe like some timeout settings or something. I don't remember all of them. But no matter what you do, I believe you have to have that has BL Touch on in configuration.h. Puns are just in his DNA. Could be. Safe places, yes, absolutely. That's just a term for never going to see it again. Insulation on this wire is just a little too snug for the size of this pin. I mean, it works. But it's quite the handful when trying to crimp it. but we shall succeed. Whoa. I think I got that one too good. What year did the first home printer come to the market? It's a great question. What the patent on some of this stuff was released in 2008, I believe. That's when it expired. I think Stratasys had some of these. I believe that is the correct date. I don't really remember. I didn't start seeing them until, like, personally, you know, I'm sure they were around. I didn't start seeing them until like 2012 or so. I didn't get into it though until like 15, 16 time frame. So I really haven't been 3D printing all that long. I just do it a lot. See you later, John. Thanks for coming to the stream this morning. Afternoon, evening, wherever everyone else is. Yep, I knew that was coming. Sax from Germany. Greetings. Thanks for coming to the stream. That is a Delta. You're correct. We haven't had a Delta on the channel for a little while. Now we need an IDEX and a SCARA. Nappin is here. What's up, Nappin? How's our print going anyway? Probably need a little more camera action on that, don't we? There you go. Have I used Chameleon much since the build? I've been playing around a little bit with it. I haven't used it a ton. Finding a spot to put it, I'm really jammed up on space right at the moment. Finding a spot to put it with all its spools and all that good stuff has been challenging. I hope to remedy some of my space issues sometime soon so I can start using it again. I need to set up the MMU2 again as well because I want to test some things, but 5 spools is even harder than 4, so no, I really haven't messed with it much. I'm back into making content again. I'm actually doing 2 videos a week right at the moment, trying to get caught up on some of the stuff I need to get done. So that's taking up almost all of my time. But I usually get started and things are kind of chaotic every season, as I like to call it. But then they smooth out. So closer to the end of the year, I should have some more free time. This time of the year is always a beast. Did we do it? I think we got it. 4 splices only took me 6 hours to do. It's a pretty good time, right? and blue. The only other pin I can think of that I need to adjust is the bed thermistor. I'm not sure if I did that one or not. But if I have, all the cables are done. I think we did okay. Oh, I needed to put, oh, I got the pins on it. I need to put a plug on the end of the sensor. Other than that, I think I'm all set. Cool. See, we're getting stuff done, printing benchies. We're doing all right. Intrum is here. What is up? Yes, another benchy is almost complete. Another day, another week, another printer, another benchy. I need that on a shirt. No, I don't. I do like this mystic green color, though. Chris K loves the deltas. Thanks for coming to the stream. Did we stop extruding or are we dragging? Oh no. It completely powered off. All of that's why it's not extruding, is because all of the temperatures went to 0. We were doing so well. Let's see if it'll actually start to heat again. Nope. Well, we made it to like 90% of a print before it broke. That's disappointing. Hard to extrude at 25C. It absolutely is. So something dropped everything to 0, and we lost our heat on bed and extruder. So I hit preheat now. I'm trying to see if it actually still heats. The bed does. The hot end does not. What a shame. What a shame. Well, nuts. Fail. Time to buy an Artemis. I guess so. I guess that's how it's going to have to go. I didn't smell any ozone or magic smoke. So I guess they're going to have to figure this out for me. But that's why we do this. That's why we do this. So you can see what you might get. So, before the epic fail, the Benchy actually looks pretty good. It's a little noisy. I don't know what stepper drivers are on there. But, I mean, the layers laid down good. The overhang looks nice. A few spots in there. For a not-so-default profile, or a very default profile, it doesn't look bad. We did have some infill issues. That's where everything turned off. The top layer looks decent. So not a bad print, but QC gets us again. Yo! So what do you think? G-code? I don't think so. Power cycle did not fix it. We tried that. Warranty is void if you try to 3D friends. I don't think it's G-code, but I am definitely going to reslice. If I run the heat up, so I powered off, powered on. If I run the heat up on the hot end, nothing happens. The bed does still heat. So maybe we got a short, maybe we lost a MOSFET, something kicked it into thermal panic. We could try firmware. Already time for an SKR swap. MOSFET, maybe it could be. Who knows? You know this part. We all know this part. Okay, well, I feel bad for FLSUN because this was not a good show. It started out great, FLSUN. We just had a problem. And I will tell them about that. It's hard to review a machine that fails out of the box. We could take a look if you would like. You want to see what's in here? I got a few more minutes. You want to see what's in here? Let's do it. I know it is a maker-based board. And there's the end of the filament, lost forever. I am going to go get my wrench, because I'm tired of fiddling. Shane is here. What's up, Shane? Did you finally catch one where Chris is going to smash the printer? Maybe. I've already lost one screw. We need to play some sort of troubleshooting game. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Like, we should count on these streams, we should count like the number of the same troubleshooting tips get mentioned or something like that. Brent Day, thank you very much for the $2. That is much appreciated. And thank you for coming to the stream. What is the Sidewinder? I want to see that. The Sidewinder is a 300, 300, 400 Cartesian direct drive printer from Artillery, also known as, what's the other name? Kenovo? What? I don't remember their name. No, that's not what I'm thinking. They have another name. But anyway, that's the Artillery. Okay. Let me see if I see anything obvious. Heater wires look good. AC wires for the bed and for the input look fine. Doesn't mean they necessarily are. Part fan. If the thermistor was messed up, you'd know it. No Bernie smell though. If you would like to take a look at it. So it's pretty much your standard maker-based board. What number is it? It is a Robin Nano, and it has an STM32 F103 BET6. So there you go. No burnt smell. There are no chips that look hot. It does not stink. I guess the next thing I'm going to do is try another heater cartridge. So that's the easiest thing to test. Jim, thank you very much for the $2. Game over. I like it. Ev Novo, that's what I was trying to think of. Thank you. They cheaped out on the extruder driver. They absolutely did. Surely no good way to lay this down and test anything and still show you what's going on. Let's... What is this, 24 volt or... Of course you can't see it. It is 24 volt. Do I have a 24 volt heater anywhere? I have a lot of heaters, but I bet you I don't have a 24 volt. Wow, this drawer is full. What am I saving some of these for? These are all 12s, I know they are. Let me see if I got a 24 volt to try. There's some Prusa stuff in there. There might be one of those. Here's one. Check the heater resistance first. I could. Just preheat it and meter the output. So what is easier, me unfolding all of the meter stuff or me just switching out this heater? It did not come with a spare. I guess if I wouldn't have walked all the way over there, this would have been easier. It does show temps. Because we're not going to actually change it. That's why. We're just going to test it. It does show temps, so I'm pretty positive it is not a thermistor issue. Trust me, if these are getting hot, you can tell. Good old MKS screen beep. The LED is on for the MOSFET. And it does get hot. So there's a test for you. So it's not the board's problem. Now I will check continuity and see if it's a heater problem or a wire problem. Reheat the coffee. That is a great idea. It would probably boil it fairly quickly. What do those run anyway on a, I'm guessing that's probably like a 30 or something, a 24. Let's see. Fixing things and streaming this, I usually don't, but it was kind of a short stream today. It is dead to rights. There's no continuity whatsoever. So Modbot, I know Modbot. Daniel, he's a good dude. He smoked his printer, huh? Wait, I had a little bit there, but I might have touched the other leaf. There is nothing, folks. One of these days I'm going to get a new fancy meter. I've had this one for like 30 years. Maybe not 30. Definitely 20 plus. Yep. We lost the heater, ladies and gentlemen. Not a hard fix by any means, but still a bummer either way. Yeah, the heater probably does not read much, but it doesn't read anything. So there you go. We got some fixing to do. If I want to use their plug, I'm going to have to redo all that, good stuff like that. We lost the heater. I will make sure that they know that that happened. But I believe that is the end of the stream for today. One of those benchtop meters would be awesome. It is a bummer. Fluke, that's the one I really want. That's true. I have had quite a few bad heater cartridges over the years, so But anyway, I think that's the end of today's stream. I will fix this up. I will give you an update on the next stream. We're not too far from the next stream. We have more streams to go, so I hope that you all join me for those. This has been an interesting one. We got somewhat of a benchy out, and then we had a failed heater cartridge. But we can fix that. Thank you for everybody that joined me today and hanging out. Thanks for all the tips. I appreciate that, as always. That keeps the channel going smooth. And everyone have a good rest of their weekend. Tomorrow is Monday, but we'll get through it. So thank you all. Have a nice day. I will see you very soon.